Good morning. We are starting our day here this morning with some quiet weather, though the wind is already starting to pick up this morning here in the valley, and we'll continue to have some issues with that wind throughout the day, despite whether or not you see any of that precip with the system moving through. It's quiet otherwise. We could see that we've got some good visibility here in the valley on our Storm Team Skycam network. The problem again will be that wind. And here's a look at our latest alerts. You can see this is basically right up and down the Red River and a little bit more to the east, where we have what is a wind advisory until starting at 10 a.m. and it's until 6 o'clock this evening. That's when the wind will be the worst. And we're looking at wind speeds gusting into the 40s, maybe even some 50s coming up for today. So the wind will really whip things around. And even as that warmer air moves in with it, it's going to feel a lot colder thanks to the wind speeds that we've got happening today. And we're already seeing some gusts into the 20s, a 23-mile-per-hour gust out of the southeast in Fargo. Cooperstown, Langdon have steady speeds in the 20s at this point, and the rest of the valley looking at some teens for most areas. It's taken a little while for the wind to pick up out east. That's where temperatures are coldest. In fact, Baudette, the bullseye here of cold weather, we're at 14 below for your air temperature in Baudette. It's 0 in Fosston and in Grand Forks, 9 in Fargo, and you can tell where the warmer air has been moving in longer, over by Jamestown and Gwinner, where we're into the teens right now, above 0 this morning. Just keep in mind it's not going to feel that warm. Our wind chill is 7 below currently in Fargo. It almost feels colder than it did yesterday when our temperatures were as low as they were, and some wind chills into the 20s below up in the northeast where we're colder. So checking out your radar, mainly we're on the quiet side here in the valley. You could see a lot of places just looking like we've got some clouds passing over, some partly cloudy skies for that matter. But heading out to the west, the snow showers have started up northwestern parts of our viewing area in the Devil's Lake Basin, and this does stretch down. The radar returns stretch down all the way toward Jamestown and Stutsman County too, and this is along that warm front that's going to be moving in with this system. We'll expand the view here to show you that there's a lot of cloud cover associated with it, and out west we've got some pink, some blue or green showing up, indicating some rain or some freezing rain that we'll have to keep an eye out for later today. So in your hour-by-hour planner this morning, first of all, contending with the snow. And as that wind picks up, we're concerned here that we've got some blowing snow happening for that morning drive. So wherever that snow happens to be falling, you're going to run into some issues with visibility likely, because checking out our wind gusts at 9 a.m., we're looking at some 30s to even some 40s at that point. So winds gusting and blowing around the snow that's falling along this band. That will eventually move to the east, but noon hour still getting some of that snow up north. Southern Valley a lot quieter, but still quite windy, and temperatures responding to that southerly direction. We're going to be into the 20s, even some low 30s for your highs today. And you can see that wind still going at around the 3 o'clock hour. That's when we'll kind of be right in the heart of those strongest winds. Now getting into the evening hours tonight, this system will start to move off to the east. Now this particular model run not showing very well our chances for some freezing rain or even some wraparound, a little bit of snow, but the potential is there as we get into the evening hours tonight too, so something to keep in mind. As we get into the 10 o'clock hour, still hanging on to warm air, but this wind is shifting directions, and eventually we're going to get that northwesterly wind as the system passes by, and then that cold air will start diving in for the day tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow morning, starting off in the teens and low 20s. Here's the good news. Right now it still looks like we're going to be on the clear side for most areas. So if you wanted to take in that lunar eclipse tomorrow morning, you've got a good shot at that. And as we get into the later morning hours, just some spotty areas of cloud cover. Temperatures either hold steady or start dropping into the afternoon. We're looking at some single digits to some teens in a lot of places, and that temperature slide just continues with breezy conditions again for tomorrow. So today will be windy and warm. However, we do have that chance for some snow, perhaps a couple of rounds of this. First of all this morning, and then again in the afternoon. That's when that could mix over to a little bit of freezing rain. And then tomorrow, some breezy conditions that'll eventually give way to quieter weather, but we're really looking at some cold air coming in for the weekend. Temperatures struggling to get to 0 or above Saturday and into Sunday. So cold air taking over here in the forecast.
Another rough stretch. Yeah. Thank you, Lisa.
Coming up next here on the Valley today, a classic yet controversial symbol of a baseball team will be removed next year. We'll explain why coming up next.